A very, very difficult decision to make, and this is something that the government is going to be remembered for.
See, you've come back. None of the Indian and fighter aircrafts were impacted at all. The Pakistani air defense obviously caught completely off guard. This is very, very significant what we've seen this morning, Gaurav.
This is extremely significant, and this was so well planned and coordinated. Not only was the enemy caught off guard, the enemy was suppressed. How? The AWACS, our eyes in the sky, they suppressed, they jammed enemy radars, they jammed the enemy electronic warfare equipment. So even as the aircraft took off from central India and they loitered, refueled, assessed the situation, and our eyes in the sky can look at 300 enemy targets simultaneously, 300. So whether it's Pakistani tanks, Pakistani aircraft, Pakistani missiles, Pakistani air bases, all of them simultaneously on the radar of the Indian Air Force, our eye in the sky up there. And then the aircraft dived low, they crossed the LC at Muzaffarabad and did not just go to one place. Multiple aircraft had multiple targets. They destroyed a launch pad, a training camp, and then went to Balakot, which is the Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters, their indoctrination center. Bahawalpur is where they run their seminary. Bahawalpur is where they recruit people and then send them to Balakot. That is where suicide bombers are made. That is where they're indoctrinated to the level to become these trained terrorists to fight alongside a military, usually the Pakistan army, whether they're launched into India or elsewhere subsequently. So this was where terrorists were moved, and that is where the Indian Air Force struck. From what sources are telling India Today, Rahul, the damage is extensive. Not the 4 pictures that Major General Asif Ghafoor has put out saying only trees were damaged. The damage is extensive, and we're waiting for Government of India to come out with those details about the extent of damage to Jaish-e-Mohammed. It's a body blow to Jaish-e-Mohammed, Rahul.
In case your Pakistani Air Force thought they were prepared for, yet the Indian side demonstrating the technical prowess to be able to go in, Shiv, while we wait for details to come, potentially dismantle the electronic surveillance systems, jam them just briefly, go in, attack, strike, and come back.
Rahul, it's very interesting that you mentioned jamming right now, because I've just had a conversation with a friend of mine in the Air Force who confirms that the Mirages that actually conducted the strikes would have possibly been carrying some kind of electronic warfare or jamming suites with them on board to try and suppress some of the ground sensors in use by the Pakistan military in those areas. Remember that there are radars not very far from, the radar sites not very far from wherever there is any big terror infrastructure. So it's highly likely that the Mirages deployed some kind of electronic warfare to suppress the sensors on the ground before carrying out this attack. Like we've also correctly reported, we had an airborne early warning aircraft containing Indian-built sensors that was also circling not very far behind it in Indian airspace. There was a refueler as well, and we also have it on good authority, Rahul, that a Heron drone, which was also, remember, used in the Special Forces surgical strikes after Uri, was also in the air at this time and providing some kind of real-time imagery and intelligence. And we understand that Heron may be still in the air conducting a battle damage assessment of what is happening.
And remember, this is not